Hey, Nick.
Hey, Chase.
It's that time again.
What time is it?
Time for
Fuck This Place!
I can. Okay.
Oh, disgusting. The ear hair is what grossed me out. Meanwhile, the hair on my head is connecting underneath this beard.
I mean,
This pathetic shit that's on top.
I'm still on your side as far as ear hair goes, though. I mean,
It's gross. But then everything else that I've just left untouched and I'm just going for Wayne Grow from Heat is the
Ear hair is always just the spider that's not quite out of your ear yet. You know, just like those creepy legs coming out of the side of your head.
I wish it was only 8 legs. It always looked like a couple of birds' nests on the side of my head. It was wild. So I don't know what's going on, man. No reason to be presentable other than the missus, who I keep saying, you got to let me know when this is too much. And she's like, you're in charge of your own life. I'm like, that's not the answer I want. I want judgment.
You be in charge of it.
Yeah, I want harsh judgment. I want comments and dirty looks.
hateful.
Yeah, let me know.
Well, I guess I should intro the podcast. Welcome to Fuck This Place, a podcast about jobs and ear hairs, if it's that's the way things go, with Chase and Nick. My name is Chase.
My name is Nick, and with us today, fantastic comic. You've seen him on Comedy Central. You've seen him on Netflix. His album, Trampoline in a Ditch, is out now, but he's here with us today, Kyle Kinane. What's up, Kyle?
Howdy, dudes.
We're here.
How you doing?
Oh, so was the ear hair part on the podcast?
I mean, we have a soft open, you know, so
rolling
it's
start.
It's a bit of a rolling start. It's a bit of an audio bleed, so to speak. So
right,
it might
I
make
like
its way
it.
in,
Yeah,
or the intro starts and they're like, "Why the fuck is that guy talking about ear hair?" Either way,
Yeah.
Because look at him. Clearly, it's a problem. Clearly, it's a daily issue.
who in this trilogy has ear hair problems?
Yeah.
You'll have to figure it out.
The guy with the 40 wild warthogs on his property. So magazine capacity is a daily issue for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good guess, sure, but it could be any one of us. Could be any one of us. You're in Oregon right now. That's your new base camp. Is that correct?
Yeah, we've been up here since we're kind of doing feeling it out all summer, and then decided had the opportunity to just crash up here and ride out the bullshit. So
Yeah.
it's pretty nice, man. Just in the burbs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If life was happening, I might be a little bit more I got to be around the action. I'm like, I'm so glad I'm not near any of the action.
You don't want to touch the action. You don't.
I want none of this action.
Yeah.
I live in Los Feliz, and like there's a parking lot outside my window that my wife and I are gauging the pandemic by now, because it's like the busier that parking lot is, the worse things are, because that means people are visiting the neighborhood, which, like, okay, well, maybe you should be home instead of visiting me.
For a touch of my own homesickness, what parking lot are you looking at?
I'm looking at the one in between Melbourne and Russell. You know, if you're leaving Fred 62, there's a paid parking lot right behind the movie theater.
Sure do.
Looking right down on
that.
it.
That is an entertainment only parking lot. That's not the bank. That's not the post office. That is
correct.
Voluntary services that you want to participate. One of my favorite jokes of like doing shows in new ridiculous bars in LA, like especially if the bar just opened up, would be like, man, I wonder what this place is going to be next. Let me tell you, the new management is comedy gets shut down right away. They don't have a sense of humor about it.
They don't know. They're just a part of the cycle, you know.
Oh yeah. Oh, the
Circle
theme for
of
this
life.
one is old timey ice cream parlor. Okay. Enjoy your 6 months. Enjoy your money laundering or whatever you're doing with this bullshit.
Next is cereal bar.
That was a place.
Bar. There was a place. I've never been, but there were places.
Of course not. Why would you go to a place that just serves cereal?
Yeah, you can buy it by the bag. They sell it in literal like gallon bags.
It is an incredibly affordable thing to indulge in.
Yeah.
You do not need overhead for a nice
there
bowl
is
of
something
cereal.
like I've always wanted to go to a cereal bar. I've just never actually committed. Like, I mean, I'm the kind of person who would consider going. I've never tipped the scale. So I don't know what that says about cereal bars, but it just sounds neat to have, you know, just a little Cocoa Puffs instead of having a whole bag.
It's weird though to be like, It's weird though to be like eating cereal at home and be like, you know what's missing is all my boys, and we're gonna go out. We're gonna drive and meet up to do this.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what? Cereal is known for just being a real conversational food. When you're just shoveling hard soup into your mouth, hard cold breakfast soup into your mouth. You really want to talk right afterwards.
Yeah. And it is, you know, in a way, it's very private. Yeah, it's like you only inhale cereal, like you never taste it. It's just.
Oh yeah, you eat it like dog food.
Yeah. Man, it is dog food. It's people dog food, and I love it.
I don't know if I've ever had one bowl, like, you know, like it's
Sure.
like
Sure.
it's
Unless you're
like
doing granola.
it's a percentage of the box that I'm like, all right, if I sit down, 60% of this box is
Especially
done.
good stuff.
60% is restraint. Have you ever gotten to the point where you're like, you know, you're going to drink the milk at the end of it, and you're like, why am I using a spoon in the first place?
Yes, it's just like lumps. Yeah.
This modicum of civility I'm engaging, and nobody's looking. I just pour it and then shovel it down there. Put it in a bucket. Give me a bucket, whole box, but one of them Home Depot orange buckets.
Yeah, I'll show you a tricks right now and just eat the
Say, get it
Eat the
done.
box.
Yeah, we'll get it done.
Industrial gazpacho. Well, we should get to our first segment. Kyle, the first segment we do on every podcast is a segment we like to call Fuck This Place, ? Where we decide if we would work somewhere or not. So we've actually looked up some Craigslist from.
The answer's no.
You're correct. That's the that is the secret to every Craigslist post is no, I don't want to do that. We have looked up some Craigslist posts. You're from Addison, Illinois originally. So we have looked up some Chicago Craigslist posts. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the title of 3. You pick the one you don't want to look at. I'm going to look at the other 2, and we will give them as firm a no as we possibly can. So post number 1 title is Memoir Writer Sought. Okay, creative gig. Post number 2 is Holiday Photography. And post number 3 title is Lead Guitarist Wanted. So which one do you not want to look at? Holiday photography, lead guitarist, or memoir writer?
I mean, holiday photography is seasonal.
It is seasonal. It's not
I'm
gonna last.
looking for long-term work.
Yeah, that's very.
And memoir, where if this individual had a very storied life, they'll keep you in the black for a good 18 months.
That's a very good point. It could be actually lucrative. Okay, so
Yeah.
we'll say fuck this place to the holiday situation because, I mean, it's a solid point. So our first post title is Memoir Writer Sought. I feel like let's go there because that might be where the money is. And the post has no pictures. It just starts with some text, which, you know, if I'm a memoir writer, I appreciate. Text reads, an experienced writer with at least an undergraduate degree is sought to write a memoir for a male professional. I like that they said male, who wishes to document certain aspects of his life for his infant children.
Oh, weird. He's like immediately like, help me lie to make me sound cooler.
Yeah.
I need
Certain
the
aspects.
opposite of what Facebook is doing to
Yeah.
me right now. The truth
Revealing-
that they'll see on Facebook, I need to counteract that.
Revealing every group.
Also, nobody interesting is from Mundelein. I'll tell you that much.
That's true. It does say they're in Mandala. That's what the map says here. And you're probably right about that, especially considering he's a male professional. So this is a businessman. Anyway,
Different than a professional male.
yeah, correct. Extremely. He seeks. I do like the third person.
Oh, wow.
Seeks to write the memoir because he is concerned that he will not be around to share his life experiences and lessons.
Oh,
Tough. That's tough. That's super sad. We'll double back on
He
that.
could just be a dick. He just be like, I'm gonna split. Like I'm gonna fake my death.
be a
I want to
mean
be
man.
around.
Yeah.
I need a
true.
co-conspirator. Delete.
Yeah.
Memoir writer.
The memoir should end up being approximately 250 pages long with approximately 15 chapters. Arbitrary. And he is planning for weekly meetings by phone of 1.5 hours, I guess, per meeting. During this time, discussions will be recorded by the writer. Then she would write the memoir over a 2 or 3 month period.
It feels like this guy's trying to make it seem like you're interested in him. Like he's like it's a real, like he's like, well, like if you were the reporter being like, well, I could only talk to him for an hour and a half or whatever,
Right.
like it just feels like real Hannibal Lecter-y. Like that's how he wants to be approached.
I think that. Go ahead.
I was going to say, given how dry this whole post is so far, I don't think these guys got 15 chapters worth of tellable stories.
How about the time that I almost tripped in the mall?
One time I baked broccoli instead of steaming it. Crack your knuckles or over that typewriter, memoir writer.
Which is
about to get some details.
Yeah,
Which
one
is a
time
far better choice.
One time I saw a guy that looked a lot like Mike Tyson.
It wasn't. I do think, we'll finish the post, but I do think there's a chance that this is maybe an assistant writing, that which might account for the third person. Although I do fancy that it's himself. The writer should have substantial experience writing fiction or nonfiction, but she needn't have experience writing a memoir. Flexible. The total fee for the work, now here we go, would be $4,000.
Ooh.
All right. Okay. And then there's the last sentence. Please provide a resume and short summary concerning why you think you can successfully write the memoir. And that's the post.
$4,000 for 3 months is the current stimulus check rate.
That's true. Well, actually, the current stimulus check rate is basically zero. But yeah, what we hope it will be. $4,000 is not nothing.
No, especially for an hour and a half at a time. Well, but does this guy suck? Like how much this guy suck?
You gave no details of the life. Like there, you got no like.
Well,
here's a wacky anecdote just to get you on board. Like this is gonna be.
Yeah, like did you
mention a war you were in?
Oh yeah, like go to Yellowstone or something. Just anything.
Yeah, Six Flags. I'll take a trip to Six Flags.
Well, we got VIP parking too. Was it just me? Because there's a Six Flags in Georgia that if you brought a can of food to or something, or a can of Coke or something, like it was just one food item that you would get like $5 off your ticket.
Yeah, I think I remember that too.
Okay.
It was Coke. It was funny how like can of food sounds like it's a hospitable, like a good charitable contribution. Like, no, you had to drink the Coke and then get $5 off. It was just poison yourself for a small discount.
Yeah.
Our entertainment.
It is super fucked up that it's just the sponsor of the park too.
Yeah.
Like they're just like, well,
prove your allegiance. Okay. Go. Please let me in.
If you showed up there with nothing, they'd give you a hot can of Coke and make you drink it in front of them.
I remember those about where we were like there, we'd have them in the car on the way up. Like, oh shit, we need the Cokes. I'll drink one. Just
pound a Coke.
Just nothing like a hot soft drink before you go riding something called like the Death Eagle. That's what you want. Jostling around as room temperature carbonation.
Yeah. And on an empty stomach too, because you're too excited to even have breakfast.
You've been up since 4.
Yeah. Someone promised you Six Flags a month ago.
Yeah. You woke up before your dad went to work.
So yeah, I mean, the workload doesn't seem super intense. As we know, it's going to be boring. So I think that's going to be your biggest challenge. Is he's going to be like, well, do we want to go over the holiday where my kid didn't come? Or I guess this person isn't old. Here's the thing. I do think this person's old. And I know that it's possible they could have a terminal illness, which we have not talked about for the documenting things for his infant children. But I just think that I think this person is like a rich old dude who probably already has kids that he doesn't like and is really wanting these kids to get lessons in sales or something so that they can.
You think he wants to train these new kids to be like soldiers for him after his death, kill his older hateful kids?
Well, who's also like, oh, here, my children want to know more about your old man? Read a book. Like, fuck you, dude. No, everything. Why? By the time infants are old enough to read a book, they're gonna have virtual reality recreations of historical figures. Like, I'm sorry, I can't read about my dad's dumb life in Mundelein. I actually have a sitting conversation scheduled with Abraham Lincoln later in virtual reality land.
That is an extremely good point.
That's a solid point.
I don't think this person's considering the stiff competition.
This is a very rare occurrence for me. I think there's a helicopter landing in my yard.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Well,
okay.
we'll chill.
He was like, son of a bitch, God's here. God damn it.
That is, I mean, it's weird what you miss. Like in LA, it would just be like, oh, great. It's been 7 minutes. There's a helicopter.
For sure.
Yeah.
But here it means Red Dawn, naturally. It means it's the beginning of Red Dawn, and the Russians have somehow made it all the way to the center of the contiguous United States to invade.
Yeah.
They beat off all coastal defenses and our allies of Canada and Mexico, and are landing in Colorado. So
Because of the drill that they built.
yes. That was weird. The windows were actually rattling.
That is pretty wild. No, I heard the windows. I heard the windows rattling.
I just thought maybe it's the guy wanting them. He heard me making fun of him.
Yeah.
This guy is an eccentric billionaire.
Yeah.
But we'll still only go for a free Craigslist.
He was like, see, I'm interesting. Look what I'm doing to the windows.
Maybe he's already dead. Now it's his ghost. Super possible. Well, I mean, I can't say outright that I would say fuck this place all the way, simply because this $4,000 payout. I'm not saying that I think this person would like hire me,
Yeah.
That's a whole different thing, but I feel like I could probably fool my way into an interview for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think I couldn't say no to this all the way. I don't doubt that after one meeting, he and I would just mutually hate each other.
Yeah, you just fight.
Yeah, but I can't say right out that I wouldn't take $4,000 for this.
No,
I would like to apply just to find out what this life is he wants to share.
Yeah, you want to know what's your problem, dude?
What if he is the most humble guy in the world, and this is like, well, I guess I would like my kids to know about the time that I was a Navy SEAL that actually saved baby Princess Diana before she was part of the royal family. I guess I don't like to brag, so if somebody else would write it, then I wouldn't feel so bad about the forward-facing camera thing. Is still a little weird to me. I just don't like making videos. So.
Yeah. He's like, I mean, we're already past 250 pages, and I don't want to be a liar about it, but I mean, do you think people would care who killed Kennedy?
Because I found him and he's in the basement. And we can do whatever we want with him. Man, yeah. I've made sort of a probably fuck this guy, sort of thing, but not a full on fuck this place.
No,
it's been a long time since we've had a medium.
Yeah, a medium like that.
Post number 2 is lead guitarist wanted, and also no pictures. And the post begins: all original music project needing lead guitarist. The ability to sing is a big plus, but not required. This is a metal opera. Oh, big fan. Rock opera that tells a story over the course of 10 plus songs. I really like that they pointed out that it has to be over 10 songs. It has to be. Like, well, okay. Mars Volta's got albums with just like basically 2 songs on it. So I beg to differ, sir. The music has mostly been written, but you are definitely able to put your 2 cents in. You're the lead guitarist.
God.
Anyway, no egos allowed. No egos. There are no stars other than the total composition. The project features 2 guitars, bass, drums, and keyboards, along with 3 lead singers and complex vocal harmonies. All right. This project is to be a limited engagement. Once this project is rehearsed, tight, and ready to play, we will perform it live 4 times over the course of 1 year.
Oh, fuck this guy already.
Then we will assess if we want to move forward with a new story, not like more shows, a new whole thing.
No egos, plenty of wiggle room. Also, let me tell you exactly what's going to happen.
You will lick my boot. First rehearsal. Inspiration for this project are the bands. I actually don't know this band. Avantasia, Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and Savatage. I also don't know. Savatage. Hell yeah.
Wow, we are dealing with definitely a 40-plus-year-old metalhead
here. Guitar harmonies, melodic solos, as well as having the ability to shred. Oh, God, I love that they put the word shred in.
Yeah. You got to shred, man.
You got to shred. Are a must. Age is unimportant. but you do have to know who's 7 touches. So,
And you got to shred.
And you got to shred. No alcoholics, drug addicts, egos, or drama queens need apply. The ability to work well with others, dedication, pro-level gear.
Pro gear. Pro gear.
And stage presence is a must. Shows will earn pay. Rehearsals do not. Please contact me via email if interested. There's an email. Rehearsals begin January 2021. And then the compensation. Performers are paid a % of revenue from gigs. Rehearsals are not paid. And that is the post.
Pro level gear, by the way, hit me up at my Hotmail address.
Yeah, I did forget to mention it is a Hotmail address. And if you got a Hotmail right now,
consummate professional, hit me up at Hotmail.
If you got a Hotmail right now, you either, are exactly who we think you are, or you've just got some major, you just got some big dick energy,
He was like, if you didn't think I was old before, check out this email.
I have a Yahoo and I have a Gmail. If I give you my Yahoo address, I'm gonna say no to whatever you're asking.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I have a Yahoo email address as well that I gave to like Ashley Furniture the last time that someone in the parking lot.
It's like buying anything online. Address is the Yahoo one.
Yeah. They were just like, oh, let's talk about futons, and I was just
sign
like,
up for savings. You got it. Here's a Yahoo address. Go nuts.
Yeah. Oh man.
Dude, I can't believe he's just like, we're gonna play 4 times over the course of the year, no more, no less.
4 times.
Like, what? Do you think he's like no egos because I already do that in the band?
This guy's clearly like, yeah, I'm the centerpiece.
I have a question. Do you think this guy has a band?
Did you go back through the wanted ads to find one for bass player and one for drummer?
I did not see any other ones. I'm just kind of I'm just thought there would be a chance that he's just like oh well I do we don't like I do all the stuff myself, and we just you know what I mean, like just I thought there'd be a chance like, this guy would think a drum machine. What's
He's
up?
like, the guys are on their way. Don't worry.
I knew a dude
for 6 months.
Dude who got tattooed his band name in with like the CD player tattoo gun homemade thing. He was like, I didn't know you had a new band. He's like, we're getting there. I just need like a drummer and a bass player, and we'll probably add a singer. I'm like, so you just came up with a name. You have a name.
You have a cool ass name.
That's what you did.
That you drilled into your flesh in your free time. Yeah, I mean, obviously, fuck this guy for sure. I don't shred. Nick, you have some shreddables. You could theoretically shred.
I can play guitar. I theoretically could apply for this. I don't want anything to do with this though. I feel like this is, I mean, I feel like I do all right with shredding, but I wouldn't say it was a must in my life. Sure. If I was in a band and they were like, it's got to be a must. Like on a dime, I need you to shred right now, Nick. I'd be like, oh, I don't know, I might get nervous. But I just feel like this guy's gonna want me to shred in a song that's like about him traveling to space or something weird, and I don't want any part of that.
Space or a foreign land with dragons.
Sure. Yeah.
It's always all the way up there. It's outer space, or it's very terrestrial but magical.
Yeah. Inner Earth, Middle Earth, or the galaxy. Metalheads love flying.
Yeah.
There's no metalhead albums about just like a bank teller,
If I apply, he's gonna ask me if I have a guitar that's shaped more like a sword, just like it's shaped like a sword in a stone.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right.
Well, that's part of the opera is you actually go and you think it's a sword, but you pull it out, and it is a guitar that you pull out of the stone.
Go ahead.
Where do you think the 4 places are that you're playing? Where do you think he thinks
Medieval
the 4
times.
places are going to be? Yeah.
Medieval times. In the lobby. He's not part of the main show.
No.
It'll be like they're trying it out in the park.
They have a friend who's like a shift manager at like the concessions there. They're like, well, you can be in the lobby if you want, like during intermission or something.
One of the remaining game stops in the area.
Couple game stops. Couple of game stops.
I think a round table pizza. I'm going with the theme of the business, not necessarily what they sell. I think round table.
Right. Because there's an illusion of swords.
What do you think? What do you think the odds are? Like in front of the dragon in a mini golf course, just like
totally possible. Totally possible.
That's my guess. Mini golf course at some point.
I was gonna say some guy's house whose name is Sid. I feel like that's
Sid.
That's the kickoff.
And Sid's not excited about it. Sid just knows that the guy whose band this is gonna cut him a deal on drywall.
Yeah.
Gotta let me play the yard, dude. Let me play the yard, bro. Do you think he says he's written the music? Do you think he's written the music, or you just show up to practice? Because this is what my band practice was like. All right, now move your hand. Now go up 3 frets. It has no musical knowledge whatsoever.
That's possible. Yeah. No, yeah. That he's just like, I want it to go like and then you have to figure out what the fuck that means.
Blah 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 blah. And bass, do bass, just do bass. Nobody ever tells them, do the bass that goes with the stuff.
That's the best advice bass people ever get.
Oh yeah, they know what they're doing.
Fill it in, why don't you? Okay, I will say I do want to listen to this, but otherwise, I would love to hear the outcome. I don't think they're going to record it, so they're just going to perform it for 4 times.
So then what they kill themselves after that, I guess?
No, then they have to. Then they're going to assess.
Oh, they assess.
They're move forward with a new story, which means that they're going to do it again and then play that 4 times over the course of 1 year.
He means he'll write the next chapter in his space medieval opera.
Yeah, he's going to do a Coheed and Cambria type thing.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think. Yeah, Coheed and Cambria.
Hell fucking yeah, dude.
Out in Round Lake. Round Lake where you're at there, that's got a lot of drunken. You got a lot of drunken lake people. Lake people, they're just wet hillbillies. There's a lot of drunk lake people out there. A lot of people that if they don't decapitate themselves on a wire fence snowmobiling in the winter, they are sure as shit gonna drown during the summer. That is what happens out there.
They'll drown in the pool of their own vomit too. They're not even gonna do it in the lake, which sucks.
I met a lot of those people in Red Dead Redemption last time I played that. A lot of lake people.
So we think this guy's maybe dead by now. I wish him the best. I'm gonna say fuck this place.
Yeah, I'm out. Fuck this place.
I want to see the finished project though.
Yeah, I do want to see the finished project. Again, I actually am a sucker for a little bit of a rock opera.
Send me the laser disc.
Yeah, send me the laser disc.
We used them all for the backdrop. Sorry. We needed it to look like the inside of a spaceship, so we used up all these laser discs.
That's all we got. Okay, we're gonna end this segment, but I had a girlfriend who from Elkhart, Indiana, actually, and her dad got super obsessed with garage sales, and he was buying records, and he would buy multiples of records to get like the perfect one, right? So he had like 30 copies of The Sound of Music or like the E.T. soundtrack. Like he was indiscriminate with what he bought. He just wanted perfect records. We think he was going through some stuff, and and apparently one day he came home and was like, "I got a silver record." And it was the laser disc of Apollo 13. And she fucking roasted him. Anyway, fuck this place. What's up, everybody?
What's going on, guys?
Wanted to remind you that you can text the podcast anytime you want.
Night or day, whenever the hell you want.
It's fine. It's the number is 470-BAD-JOBS. The actual numbers are 470-223-5627. That's the number.
So yeah, anytime you want. Like I said, middle of the night, whenever. We don't got jobs right now. Whatever's going on with you is going on with us.
I mean, absolutely. Maybe you still have a job and it's like shitty. You can tell us about that. Mm-hmm. Maybe you don't have a job and it was shitty before.
Maybe you're getting one of those weird temperature forehead checks right now.
For sure.
You want to pull out your phone and just say, you know what, fuck you guys. I'm going to text 470-BAD-JOBS.
470-223-5627 is the number. That is the number. And you can also call us if you want, but I mean, whatever. It's your choice. That's the point here.
Kyle, what's the first job you ever had?
First job that I ever had was I was a caddy at River Forest Country Club. Would probably show up on that Craigslist map you had up there. I was a caddy. I was a golf caddy, and it was
damn.
You guys ever caddy?
I've not.
No. We have a guest, Sam Lindsay, who caddied.
I was gonna say, I think you're the second guest we've ever had that was a caddy.
Well, It was a real great way. It was just pure. It was like kind of slave labor, and it skirted child labor laws because you could just start.
Yeah.
I think I was between 7th and 8th grade.
Oh, whoa.
Sure.
When I started.
That's pretty young.
That's pretty young. It's like 12, 11?
Or maybe 13.
Do you sign any paperwork? You know, like, is there anything that happens? Or they're just like, well, here you are.
They gave you 2 free T-shirts that have the name of the club on it.
They're just like, if the cops show up, just say you're holding my bag real quick.
Well, it was it's just rich people shit. It was like clearly like looking back, I'm like, oh yeah, there was definitely groups of people that were not allowed to join this club. And also realizing how much money country clubs cost, and then it's still like I was bad at being a cat. Like, I'm a small statured man as it is, and it's not like I.
And as an 8th grader,
and I didn't spring up to 5'8" when I was 10, and then stayed there. I think I reached 5'8" maybe 10 months ago. So I was tiny as it was, and it like some of the dudes like it was usually it was always like the guests that you could tell were used to public courses or municipal courses that had the bags that they would carry themselves, and like, oh, okay, I guess we're getting caddies, all right. And they were cool. It was the members that had the Rodney Dangerfield patent leather bags from Caddyshack with just it's like the first time you go camping and you bring everything. I don't know, maybe I might need a 900 feet of paracord, so we can put that in there. And it was old, like just old rich dudes who would still sit by the pond, because I remember the one dude I carry for had the thing like it would look like an extension thing with a cup on the end. He would just sit by the pond and scoop free balls. Right. Like, you pay $40,000 a year in early 90s money. You're sitting there scooping free golf balls out of the dyed blue water.
You're absolutely right. Rich people are weird about shit like that. Like really random shit.
Well, but those are the stories you hear about, like, whoever Warren Buffett or whatever, like, this is how they became rich, is because they don't spend.
I ate peanut butter and
jelly
jelly
sandwiches. You get a new
every
12
day.
pack of balls at the pro shop. You can part with that.
Just don't play golf then.
I sucked so bad. Like, I didn't know you had to be like I was bad at I didn't care about the sport. I remember there was A caddies, which were the guys that were there for a year. And then there were B caddies. So I was new as a B caddy. I remember the A caddies actually being like, look at these B caddies, like, had swagger. I'm like,
like JV squad.
Kiss ass. You're a preteen kiss ass, and you're proud of it, and you're gross. I just want money. I need BMX parts, and shit's not cheap.
Like how proud are you just holding like bags with just like iron sticks in them?
The idea,
but check me though.
Like, the first idea to give a kid any, like, when they know they have more experience than somebody else, is in a workplace, or it's in sports. And I never gave a shit about sports. Or the idea of competition. I never got it. I never understood. Like, I understand as an adult why competition makes things interesting, and it's you versus somebody else of a equal or similar skill set, and let's see. I just don't care when somebody else is like, I'm better at this. I'm like, congratulations.
Maybe you are.
That's why comedy's great. It's like, oh, that person's way funnier than me. This is a fun show to watch. Like, as long as I don't have to go right after them, it'll be okay. But with sports. So these guys that like have swagger and be like, oh, good, you kiss ass the best. But I just didn't care. Be like, oh, you get some golfers be like, what club should I use? I'm like, fucking, you know what you're doing. You pick one.
You played golf every fucking weekend since you were 25.
What do I give a shit? And I just wouldn't pay attention. And so then I got assigned to be a 4 caddy, which is where you're so bad at carrying the golf clubs alongside an individual is that you get assigned to a golf cart, and all you have to do is stand at the end of the hole and point out where the balls go. And I was even worse at that, because then I didn't even have to be near anybody, and I would just stand out in a glorified lawn and just look at trees and squirrels and shit. And then all of a sudden the cart would come up like, where's our ball? I'm like, yeah, man, I don't know. And so then I got demoted even further that I started getting assigned all the carts that had red flags on the back of the carts, which was all the golfers with health problems. So I got assigned all the dudes that were going to check out real soon, more than likely on the course at some time. So they couldn't hit it real far anyways. Like, just go down about 50 yards and you'll be fine. It was these octogenarians just clunk and just, it's right here. We all saw it. You can just, your vision's going. That's the only reason you can't find this ball.
It's like you're on the biggest putt course of all time.
That's what it was. It took forever.
It's a string of demotions that got you into babysitting.
And into senior care. Yeah. I was doing outdoor hospice care is really what it was with no medical training.
Wiping chins from slobber. How did you get the job, or like what drew you to it in the first place? It's obvious you didn't play golf.
No, it was just like, where can you make money legally as a child?
Right. Fair.
So somebody's like, oh yeah, you can be a cat. I forget who was caddying there first. And me and my buddy were both just, they regretted hiring us so quickly. My buddy went home with heat stroke every other weekend. I'm like, we're waiting for a ride home. Like, yeah, Brian went home after the 7th hole. He was sweating, and the golfers didn't feel comfortable making him carry the bag anymore. Making these dehydrated children. We get to the caddy shack.
Finally got a conscience.
Yeah, we get to the caddy shack, and I didn't know that you could only get the caddy special, which was like a Coke and a hot dog or whatever. Because I'm like, give me a ham sandwich, give me 2 Dr. Peppers. So I'm getting all this stuff, and they're like, okay, because the golfers had to pay for your lunch.
Hilarious.
Yeah. And the guy working there, I think, was just like, look at the audacity of this kid. Let's get him a steak sandwich. Why not?
We're closed, but we'll open up.
Do we serve lobster?
This kid's not going to work here for long. Let's get him a good lunch.
So how long were you there?
I think I made it. I think I did 2 summers there, or like a half of the next summer. I was like, this is bullshit. And then my dad was like, I don't care. The less days I have to drop you off at 6 a.m. Fine. All right.
You said that it was you and your buddy, but then was there like a clique of like cool kid caddies? Or was it just like you just run into one random by himself loser caddy that made fun of you or whatever?
No, well, it was in the morning. You'd all kind of be stabled together around the carts waiting for your assignment. You get tickets. And so you learn real quick that the good golfers are the guys that liked, the kiss ass ones that did good would get all the good cards for the golfers. Well, and I was, me and my buddy were just bottom of the barrel. The golfers are dickheads. You guys are losers. Pair them up. I bought like a baseball hat. Just it's hot out. I got like a Dodgers hat, and this guy hey, how about this guy? How about that guy? I'm like, what? He's like, you're dead. I'm like, just don't talk to me about anything, man. I'm not out here to bond. I'm out here to get your money. You're rich. I'm not. Give me your money. I'm dragging your shit around the dirt for 3 hours.
Like, look, you're rich. I'm a loser. You're buying me pasta in a little bit. All right.
Oh God, mustacholi, really bad choice for a midsummer day break.
You don't want to go cream based.
Can I put these leftovers in your bag? Because I'm not going to finish this fettuccine Alfredo. I know you got space. I've been digging around this thing all afternoon.
It'll just take a little. Did they pay? I mean, were you in any way satisfied with the wages, even of the losers, or was it like, no, this?
No, I think it was. I mean, I really didn't have a lot to compare it to.
Right.
Again, another great way to take advantage of kids who don't have any kind of economic understanding of what a wage should be. So I think there's a couple of times where I was like, oh, okay. This was a good, and I can't remember. I think it was like maybe $20.
Sure.
Was like a good, oh, wow. I remember.
Meanwhile, the other caddies are fucking raking it in.
I remember getting like $5. It's 3 hours.
Yeah.
3 hours for a round of golf. And getting $5. And I'm like, I'm going to kick the shit out of this old fucker. $5? You motherfucker.
kick the shit out of this old fucker.
I just remember being like, this is bullshit, man. I'll go suck some dicks or something. For what I can get for this body, this is what I'm selling my body for. $5.
If you took that same 3 hours and you just fished balls out of that pond, you would have made more than $5.
I should have been listening to his economic advice instead of just waiting for him to teach me the lesson at the end when he paid me.
Just to go from like busting your ass for 3 hours, get $5, immediately think I'm gonna beat up this old man, and then go like, I'm just gonna go suck some dick instead. just the hard life of a 12-year-old. Yeah.
I guess, man, I gotta stop reading the basketball diaries once. There's other ways to do this.
I think you're right. Oh man.
But yeah,
so
that was my first job, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it counts. You got paid an amount, obviously. I'm glad that you say that because our previous caddy, he had a great time, and I thought this guy's got to be fucking lying. You know?
Yeah, but he still tweets about golf.
He still tweets about golf anyway.
Yeah,
but if you liked golf, I mean, I bet anybody.
I think that's
you're
what
signing up to be treated like shit. There's always a couple guys who are like trying to be like cool, like, hey man, how's it going? I had no personality. I was super shy.
Yeah.
Was not like, oh, customer service is the way I'm going to get money. Boy, don't I know how to hang out? Like, I didn't know how to hang out. I'm like, you want me to shut up and get out of the way? Got it. No problem. And so I didn't have the personality to kind of turn that into anything lucrative. So
yeah.
I was trying to think like first real jobs, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like high school, I got into a union in high school, and that was like the best.
You got a union?
Yeah.
What kind of union?
I was in the Bakers, Confectioners, and Tobacco Workers Union in high school because I worked at a place called Clyde's Delicious Donuts in Addison, and it was like a large scale donut factory. Like they would make the ones that you see in the grocery stores, and it was the best. I loved it because I was like, I never wanted to work customer service again because you're in high school, you don't want to see the people you know from high school.
Yeah.
No,
coming like I felt the kids that would work at McDonald's and stuff and have to deal with other kids coming in and sit like that was a level of bravery that to this day I commend
100%
willing to do that.
Yeah. I don't think that ever goes away because I feel like when I would just doing stand up, if I was at a club and one of my buddies walked in and I didn't know he was coming that night, I still would get that like, oh shit, they're here. Fuck.
Yeah. The power dynamic. Yeah. Oh, all of a sudden, hey, look at so-and-so's on the fucking thing. Like, I can get you kicked out. And I still But yeah, I remember one day I was like the everything guy. They had me because I was like really maybe one of two like white people that worked in the factory area. It was mostly Latinos that worked there.
Mm-hmm.
And the other guy was just clearly work release, just a criminal.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody thought that I must have been related to the owners of the company. And then once they
right.
It's like, oh, white, so they kind of had a cold shoulder to me. And once they realized I wasn't related to the owners, they thought I must have been the poorest white person they've ever met. And so they all were like, they kept because I would keep eating the donuts at lunch. I would never bring a lunch.
Right,
I was like
because you're a teenager.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, free donuts. Like any donuts that were fucked up or something. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna eat donuts all day. Yeah. So they thought I was so poor I could only afford to eat the free broken donuts. And so I would get all this great homemade Mexican food. It was like my first taste, like nopales, tacos, and everything. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you don't have to. They're like, no, you need to eat. You're skinny. And I was getting all this great food. And everybody,
you're in deep trouble, dude.
Yeah, there was so much. Like it was a great place to work. Like everybody's really like because it was a union job, everybody's getting paid well, everybody had insurance. And when people are paid well and taken care of, the productivity goes up. The workplace is better because people are like,
they'll feed their coworkers.
Yeah. They want to take care of themselves and others and they like their job. But I was like the move around part. Like I never had one position. One day it was like middle of the summer and I just had to stand at like, they had a deep fryer that looked like an Olympic swimming pool. It's just long, deep fryer.
Holy shit.
And with one little wall in the middle where the donuts would go. And when they hit the wall, they would flip over so the other side would fry. And I just had to stand there with a stick in case one of the donuts did flip over, I was gonna hit him with a stick. That was my job. Just standing over a deep fryer in the middle of summer.
And then you're in the union.
Donuts with a stick.
And you're in the union with this.
I was a union. I was getting like double-digit hourly rate in the 90s as a kid. It was great.
Just paying dues, bitching to your wife about how you got to go to the meeting tonight.
Couple years earlier, just dragging ass along the 17th hole. Making my own money now.
It's like, it's weird that even early on, you find a way to get good food for free. Like both the first jobs.
Both survival, man.
Yeah.
It was. I loved it, man. I got secret. I won't spoil donuts for people, but I know some secrets, man.
There are secrets that would spoil donuts?
Avoid the almond paste.
The almond paste?
All right.
Almond paste. If you ever have that.
Where is almond paste in donuts?
We get like an almond croissant or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
It's old donuts.
Really?
Almond flavor.
That's why it tastes so fucking good.
Yes, I know.
Almond paste is so good.
They would show me. They're like, look at how it's made, and I would be eating one. I'm like, I don't care. Like this one fell on the floor. I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I'm in waste management at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like almond, and this is like, honestly, this is a little bit life-changing for me because an almond croissant is like my go-to.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin that for you, but
no, I think
so. It's just made of the souls of old donuts. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, it's the essence. It's the spirit. There's actually a lining on the roof that when a donut dies, it catches its spirit and brings it into the.
And the problem is
almond croissant.
And the problem is those donuts should be going to heaven, so they're actually cursed.
Got it. That's what dream catchers are for. Is actually they just catch the souls of old donuts.
So you're just
souls of old donuts.
You're just eating purgatory.
They don't say donut holes. It's donut souls. That's actually.
It was a misnomer from the very beginning.
Okay. So that's your first couple of jobs. We'll say. What, Kyle? What would you say is the worst job you ever had?
Well, the absolute worst place I ever worked. I did a lot of warehouse work, so that was like kind of where I could eke forward above other entry level candidates.
Yeah.
It was like, well, I have a forklift license and stuff. So I worked at a place called West LA Music in Studio City. The building's still there. It's on Cahuenga. It's empty now because that place went out of business. And if I could dance on the grave of everyone that worked there, I would do it happily. When I first moved to LA, I was working at a couple jobs that were okay, but it's like I got moved into sales at this job, and I was like, I can't do sales. And the guy thought he was doing me a favor. He's like, no, this is where I'll give you a raise. And I'm like,
yeah, it's more money or whatever. Yeah.
And I can't say no, like you're already making no money in the first place. So any little raise, like I guess maybe I'll try sales. And it was bad. I was like, I got to get out of this job. So I thought like, oh, I'm like a music store, like a Guitar Center type of place, West LA Music. I'm like, oh, I like musical instruments and I think they're cool. And okay, I'll work in a warehouse there. So, okay, it's a warehouse gig that I could do. And it's around stuff that I might like. And I don't know, maybe, just maybe, out of work musicians who are now working for commission would be cool people to be around. And I've never been stuck in a room with more selfish assholes. And I'm a comedian. And so that's to say that means a lot. That to go into that place. Yes, I was the warehouse was nothing more than a glorified storage closet that the manager of the store refused to physically acknowledge the concept of the dimensions of the warehouse. It was always like, put it back there. I'm like, it doesn't go in there. And he'd come back in there and be like, well, look at this. And he'd take one box that was like horizontal and just see, and he'd move it vertical. I'm like, you didn't physically change the shape of the box. There's no more room now than there was. You can't just turn something sideways and be like, now there's more room. That's not how
same amount of
dimensions.
room.
And it was just one of those, it's not my problem. You work in the warehouse. And then my office where I would print the labels out was also the break room. So it meant there was a microwave in there. So people would just come in and like microwave their lunch over me while I was at the computer trying
just
to
like
print
fish, like fish chili or whatever.
Fish chili would have been a gourmand's delight. What would actually happen is that some days they would have like pizza day, and one dude would take the pizza and hide it because that's I guess he wasn't selling enough modulators.
Yeah.
And so he would hide it in the break room and then never come get it. So I would just be in there, and all of a sudden fucking Washington's lunch would just be smelling from some corner. I think he got fired, and then I was still finding
his pizza
food. Yeah.
It's like a squirrel
in places in the warehouse.
Yeah.
And I remember I would just eat SpaghettiOs out of the can. I remember still like, why don't you microwave it? I just remember the one day I'm like, what's the point? And the can, like the tin lid still hanging off the side of it.
Like a fucking hobo.
Yeah, and they would
like on a train.
I would literally I would sleep on the bus bench in front of there just on break, because at one point I think I was trying to save money. I was living in Los Feliz, and I would take the red line to Cahuenga because I was even trying to save that much money, the little bit of gas to go from Los Feliz to Studio City. I'm like, nah, man.
Because for those who don't know, that's a big fucking hill between here and there. It's not like
if you're going in the morning and you're getting stuck in any kind of traffic, I was like, well, and also because then I can house 2 24-ounce beers on the 12-minute train ride home, because it's the only way to keep me from jumping in front of that train. So I would actually take naps on the bus bench. And when I got the voiceover gig for Comedy Central, it's at a recording studio right across from that building.
Oh my God.
And I couldn't stop smiling every time I'd pull in and know that the stuff they bought at that studio, they bought from that. You're
like, your mouth is so close to the mic, and you're just like, doesn't smell like pizza.
God, can I just pour some drinks on this processing board just so we can call them up? And it was just the mentality of out of work musicians.
Yes.
Who moved to LA, like anybody else who moved to LA to be a star, and are now kissing the ass of other people who have just maybe made it the next level up to buy the musical recording.
Sure. Or they're just rich kids,
I remember the Steve Perry came in there from Journey. And I was excited. I'm like, Steve Perry, that's just Steve Perry. And everybody in there, like, I was probably 30. And so the people were like in their 20s and stuff, like, who? Yeah. I'm like, Steve from Journey? Steve Perry? You fucking losers. But then Brian Austin Green would come in there to buy like DJ equipment or some shit, and people would lose their minds. You know Brian Austin Green? Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. I didn't.
The dude who was from Beverly Hills 90210 for like a half a foot.
That guy.
And then I guess he married Megan Fox or something. That's exactly. I'm like, who? And they're like, Brian Austin Green, dude.
He's been DJing pool parties
you were like,
years.
Dude, Steve Perry. And they're like, Brian Austin Green. You're like, Steve Perry. Just going back and forth.
I'm like, we're not that far apart in age. But it was fun to see that the security guard was an ex-meth head, which, if you're even if you quit meth, it's still in you.
Yeah. The ghost of meth will live forever. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he would just air drum. And he was like supposed to be security, like the authority, and he was just at the booth, just like, yeah, man, Tuesday, bro, Tuesday. I'm like, all right, okay. And then one dude, there was like a studio monitor, like a tower, like a display tower, studio monitors. And the boss deleted his old emails because it was clogging up the server, but that's where all his sales contacts were. So he went punched this tower studio monitors. Like there was physical fights in there between salesmen. It was the worst energy I've been around in my life, of as far as just what, like, people walking into a place of employment and everybody in there is like, I wish I had the courage to kill myself.
Yeah.
And then one dude we were so excited for one of the dudes, because I didn't realize that, like, guitar players in my head, like, you play guitar and you're gonna be in the band, you're gonna have your rock opera, you're gonna I didn't realize like, oh, hired guns play anything.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this dude who's like cool, like rock and roll dude, he's like, man, fingers crossed. I think he was like gonna go out on the road with like it was somebody like the equivalent of Taylor Swift and
like a Miley Cyrus. Yeah.
It's something like that. He's like, man, I'm like, and it didn't compute. I'm like, yeah, but that's like garbage music. I didn't say that to him. Like,
right,
it's just a gig.
Yeah, it's just a touring thing.
That way.
Yeah. He's like, man, I'm really hoping to get the rhythm section on the new Kids Bop album. Fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed.
But I understood it was a way out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We'll let you out of prison, but you just gotta mop up the porno theater for another 20. You're like, it's not quite lateral. It's got some incline to it. I'll take it.
Yeah. Send me to the porno theater.
I'll take it. That we used to get like Dimebag Daryl guitars in. R.I.P. Dimebag. Also, a joke that got me in trouble on Twitter was can't believe that guy that wanted us to call him Dimebag didn't live a long and fruitful life.
That one got you in trouble?
Pantera fans, not a big sense of humor about old Dimebag.
Sure.
But his guitars were so sharp and pointy that if you didn't put it back in the case the right way, it would just tear the shit out of the inside of it.
Oh my God.
I remember we'd open up and be like, oh, look at this thing. And if it was a half inch off in the case, you'd close the case and just hear he
shred.
Tore the lining of the whole thing.
Dimebag's gonna be so pissed.
God damn it, Dimebag. Gotta send this case back to Dean now.
So your responsibilities were the warehouse. Were you the only person in the warehouse, or like?
No, I had an assistant. I had a guy who was he sold merch for Bang Tango or something back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
These bands are funny to me. Because I was as like a young junior high kid, I was like tail end of hair metal. So that was I still remember all like maybe it was Faster Pussycat was the band he would sell merch for occasionally. And so he was a holdover from that era. Yeah. So if I'm 30 and a warehouse manager, this dude was in his mid 40s and he was an assistant warehouse guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And would wear jeans from that heyday.
Hell
wear jeans where the wallet mark was on the front. And I remember another dude coming up and be like, hey man, I know there's no like dress code here, but could you get your boy to wear some looser pants? Because we just don't want to see that shit around here. Like rock musicians telling other rock musicians, hey man, can you like go easy on your
look
on your junk, man? It's like we're just looking at it all day. It's everywhere.
Yeah. You're like, dude, he's like my older brother. I can't tell him anything.
I'm like, man, you bring it up to him. I'm not staring.
He's trying to give me CDs.
he found Silver Records. And he quit. He disappeared one day because the guitars would come in a guitar case, but those would come in a cardboard box with the big industrial staples. And this guy trying to convince me that you worked backstage rock shows for the past 15 years, but you don't know that if there's staples holding something together, you shouldn't try and open it like just a regular envelope. He just
no.
All of a sudden you just see him. He's like, and then that's the last we saw him.
Oh, he just disappeared.
He just took a chunk. I'm going home. I'm like, I get it. And then he
sliced his fucking hand.
Came back. Well, I should have known that job was going to suck too, because when I went there to get you need to get 2 weeks of training. And the guy who was leaving was just showing me how to print the labels on the computer. And he's like, yeah, you just do that. And he was just broken. He was just, I just do this and get that right. I'm like, oh, so why are you leaving? He's like, oh, I'm moving or whatever.
It's stuff.
I'm like, what? Moving like back? Yeah, dude. Whatever, man. Here, just like, and trained me for 2 days and left.
Yeah, 100%.
So I had 2 days of training and then here. Handle the shipping department of this music store.
And then he just walked into the sea.
Yeah. Well, I did the same thing to the guy who took the job after me. So of course. I'm like, you don't want to work here. I'll tell you right now, you don't want this job.
Did you actually say that to him?
I think I was like,
it sucks here.
Yeah, don't. I mean, keep looking for employment.
Yeah. Like this is a stopover.
But that dude quit, and then it was right down the street from Vivid Entertainment. So really the only, if this is considered a high point, that Vivid would give the UPS driver a bunch of porn at Christmas time. And then the next stop was our place, and he'd be like, I got a family, man. And just shitty musicians, oh my god, like a feeding frenzy running up the UPS truck for just boxes of DVDs.
It's the hardest you ever saw him work.
Yeah, they hustled there. They broke a sweat on that one.
God damn.
So like that was the gift. Like they would just hook the UPS driver up with just like, we just have bundles of porn.
Why not give him like some chocolates or something?
Yeah, here's just not like it was wrapped or anything. It was just like, here's a bunch of DVDs that come on,
just loose in a bag.
Hey, here's the gift of alone time. Here you are.
Unaware of their value. Just like, I don't know, here's a bunch of naked chicks. I don't know. Take that.
And then he goes like, oh, I know some fucking degenerate losers. They're actually just right up the street.
It really was. He's like, I'll take it because I can unload it in a half a block.
That's hilarious. How long were you there?
I lasted at that job. Did I make it like a year?
A year's a long time. That's a good fucking stretch to be that miserable.
Yeah. Just nobody happy. There was one old Southern dude who worked in the guitar department. Because then some of those dudes were just old LA heads that had been around the scene and had some stories. And it was kind of neat to like, oh, that guy's got a fun story. But he uses the N-word a lot in it. All right,
better go back to the warehouse.
I guess that story is not that great.
Well, I can't tell it now.
Because it was so many people that were like had moved there and like were not making it yet. So there's that level of frustration.
Right.
But then there's the salesmen who had made their money, but they're still not happy because they had their close calls with being professional musicians and now just like sold mixers and recording boards and shit. And so now it's just, everybody was just like dream adjacent, which is such a frustration, as opposed to like, oh, I never pursued it anyway. So I wonder what that's like. It's not like, the Guitar Center, out in the suburbs of Illinois where it's like, oh, I like guitars. Now I get to work around guitars. This is cool. It's like, well, I had a band, we had a record deal, and then everybody did too much coke and we lost it. And anyway, would you like a new Stratocaster? Can I get you a strap with that? Like that's a whole other level of frustration with people.
Yeah, definitely.
Because everybody would be like, you're into comedy, huh? Fuck, that's cool, man. Like they sincerely were like, because you could see that like their wheels turn up like, you don't have to find a drummer.
Right. You're on your own.
You're like, oh, you just go and do the thing. There's no bullshit. You don't need to rent a rehearsal space. You don't need to like see all the gears turning.
Yeah, like you don't have to own equipment. Yeah.
You have to buy shit. You don't have to load in. I think a few of them may have gone like, man, where's these open mics at, man? It'd be funny, like the guys in the band think I'm pretty funny.
Do you think they can get me up at the Improv?
Yeah. Good. Best of luck to you, man.
Yeah, fucking have a good one. So, Kyle, there's always 3 questions before we close the pod that we make sure to ask. So we covered all the bases. Question number 1 of those 3 is, for this job, when were you done and how did you quit? We know you lasted a year, but like, when did you know you needed to get out? And how did you do it?
That, I think it was a very unceremonious. When I got another job where my buddy Matt Bronger was doing closed captioning.
Like typing? Like
just typing and
transcribing.
It was great.
Yeah.
He's like, I love it. It's like, it's a great job. They let me leave if I have auditions and everybody there is cool.
Yeah.
And it's a good pay, And I'm like, if anything ever opens up, please.
For the love of God.
I will, whatever you need me to do, man, let me have that job. And I remember actually being on the phone with them in the parking lot of the music place and like finding like empty bullet casings in the parking lot. There's also like a weird nightclub that was right by there that always had a lot of violence, which is not what you think of Studio City as. And there's nothing on that strip of like social engagement. It's all businesses. But there's one nightclub, so there's like bullet casings in the park. Like, I just remember being like, yeah, if you could hire me, that'd be just great. Because I think I just said something so other. I don't think I'm gonna last real long.
Like, might die out here. So
I'm not long for this world.
Just something desperate. We're like, oh God, I guess there's only so many naps on a bus bench I could take. And so that was like it. That was the next job that I had. I don't think there was any. I think there was just a, hey boss, I'm gonna quit. And I think I gave him a week. I did give him a week because he only gave me a week when I had another job that I just didn't like the job, but I liked my boss and everything. He's like, well, when he hired me, he's like, we need you to start as soon as possible. So like, if you can't start within a week, I mean, we're going to look elsewhere. Like, didn't even allow me to give my previous
what a fuck
2 weeks notice.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, fair is fair, man. Remember how you only had me do? I'm like, you got a week and I'm out of here. So,
fuck you. Yeah.
Fuck you a little bit.
So that was the most like,
and that's gracious. I mean, the truth is, like, you know,
because even then it's like, but you realize like saying like, oh, having these big fuck you, I'm out of here moments sound cool, but then all your coworkers who you maybe did like are like, yeah, but you also just said fuck us at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, we're also in a shit situation. So I know you're going to be a hero when you retell this story, but the rest of us lost a lot of respect for you.
The rest of us,
we're still on this island. After you leave.
That's kind of a dick move still.
just like set the boat on fire as you left.
Yeah, but you tell the story how you want to tell it, but we know the other side of it.
Yeah, we were all cheering. Yeah, that's how it went.
Yeah,
all those chicks were making out with you.
Dickhead.
It's an extremely good point. We've, people that has come up multiple times of like, oh yeah, and I didn't do the fuck you thing, but it's a very important point because there's people there that it's not their fault that they also work at a shitty place. Just let them go lightly. So you just made it out because you were sort of looking and also begging, and you got out.
Not to pat myself in the back, I always had like a very solid work ethic of like, I never had that like, things will just fall into place. I was like, I need to have a job. The past since March is the longest I have not been employed.
Right.
In decades. So
yeah. There's a lot of people like that. Shitty. Question number 2 is, I guess, what's one good thing that you took from that bad job?
Double check how you close a dime bag Daryl guitar.
Yeah.
I'll say that. I'm trying. Wow, making me choose a positive. Well,
the last two
best
questions.
Breakfast burritos I ever had was the food truck that would come by there, but that might have just been the
sadness,
any port in a storm type of thing.
I mean, it sounded like you were keeping yourself warm with bullet casings, so there wasn't like a whole lot of good in that place.
It really was like, this is the greatest breakfast. It's like, you're just not working for 7 minutes. That's all it is. Clouds part, the warmth of the sun shines on you. I even remember the physical temperature being cold. I don't even. It was LA, but for some reason I just remember that. Like
dark.
It really did feel like I was working, in the Midwest in winter. Like the sun went down at 4 o'clock, about 45 degrees at all times.
Okay. Well, question number 3, not about that bad job, thank God, is speaking of being unemployed. There's been a pandemic. It's been not great. A lot of dreams have been put to the side. A lot of professions have been put to the side. How you doing? Theoretically, there's a vaccine on the way or something. How's that going? What are you thinking about all that?
I did see, who was it? Was it Clinton, George W. and Obama all said that they would take the vaccine publicly?
Of course.
Which is what we need, is a tri-headed mutant. That dominates the world after they both take. I've been fine, man. I will say, I think with to tie into like bad jobs and understanding the value of money,
Right.
and never getting a lot at any one point in my life. That when I started making some, it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to buy a bunch of dumb shit now, because it's like, man, already, even if my dreams only came this much true instead of this much true, I better save as much money from this. So I'm not panicked about what's happening right now, which I realize is an incredibly fortunate place to be.
Absolutely.
We moved up to Oregon, so it's a lot mellower. Like, we're in a house, so that's nice, and we're in the suburbs, which I realized growing up in the suburbs, you think you're never gonna leave, and you think it's just a vice constantly being turned to crush the dreams out of the populace.
Yes.
And that's but now, knowing that, like, all right, I've toured and I'm a comedian, like, I can say that with confidence,
for sure,
even though I haven't had a day job in over 10 years. And, like, it still feels weird to be like, I'm a comedian, and not be embarrassed to say that. There's still some embarrassment, but so to do that, to be back in a place where it's the suburbs, like, I could see it through different eyes of like, oh yeah, everybody's got their own little life, and I like the grocery store, and I like taking walks, and helicopters are a new experience instead of a commonplace. Living in Hollywood, and you'll never know silence for like, now there's silence here, and it's more terrifying, because in like LA, they're like, oh, I live in an apartment, and that's neighbors, and that's a car chase, and that's a helicopter, and that's police sirens, and that's gunshots, and I'm used to it. And here it's like any little noise, like, what? Somebody's breaking in through the roof. It's the only explanation. Otherwise, it's been quiet for 6 months.
You definitely see how, like, that context, like, when it's a choice, it serves the people who choose it, like the suburbs. Yeah, and it's also like looking back on, you want to criticize the people that do decide to live in the suburbs, and be like, you just gave up on your dreams, and you just want white bread and clean underwear, and you don't want anything more from this life. You don't know what change it. And now it's like, all right, maybe let's calm down on the accusations. Maybe it's that people lived in the city long enough, and now they still want to sleep in silence and get a good night's rest, because then they can fight the man that much better the next day. For sure. In a suburban home with a good night's sleep and more affordable utilities. It's easier to go to the city and fight the man when you commute. Right. It is hard to fight the man in bumper to bumper traffic. Well, when you're neighbors with the man, Oh, the man's next door. If I fight him now, then he's up banging on my wall. It's a whole thing. I'll ask you guys both this one. Y'all taken a bath? I have 100% taken a bath.
I have. For my torn Achilles, I couldn't shower. So I did with the all hanging out, my one leg hanging out, but I did take a bath. Yeah.
World forced you to relax.
Yeah, a little bit.
What'd you throw in there? You have some candles?
No, I just all right, I'll lay it out there. I just I didn't have it. I had some Epsom salts, but what I did was I turned the light off in my bathroom and then the hall light on. So there was just a little bit of light.
I love doing that.
Get a mood. Mood.
Yeah.
Don't just sit there. Well, you don't want to see yourself in a bath.
Yeah, you don't see your junk just like hanging out.
Oh yeah, you don't want to see like the refraction, and then just your extra thumb down there. Nobody needs that. No, you want mood lighting. Thumb. Yeah. You want a bath bomb. Get a drink or two, maybe a book, maybe some music.
Get a bath. If you haven't had a bath and you're listening to this right now, give yourself a bath. Maybe listen to this while you're in a bath. It's too late now, but there's other episodes. Or Kyle, well, where can people find you on the internet if you'd like to be found?
I mean, I kind of gave up on a lot of social media. More in the self-care thing. I found myself getting so aggravated. You got the old Google page there, and you put Kyle Kinane in, and then I show up.
You have a podcast. That's correct.
Oh yeah, we do the Boogie Monster podcast. Shane Torres and I, Matt Bronger and I have one. I probably have too many podcasts, but what else? Again, nothing but time.
Nothing but time.
But it's out there, man. If you want to find it, you can find it.
Google
it. Feels weird to tell somebody like, "Oh, I didn't know it was his name on Instagram." I would have never found him.
We'll do the homework. There's going to be links in the show notes, so if you want a real quick link to Kyle's Instagram, it'll be there. Well, Kyle, thank you so much for joining us.
This is awesome, man. Thank you so much.
A delight.
Thanks for having me.
and fuck this place.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
If you had a great time listening to today's episode, leave a review and rate the podcast. We really, really appreciate it. Also, you can write in anytime you want. You text us. It's 470-223-5627. That's 470-223-5627. Keep your ears peeled. There might be a special holiday treat later this week. Tee-hee. Fuck this place.